Have you ever wished that you could talk to a bunch of different TPT sellers and ask them about their different experiences in different niches, ask them about their different game changers or things that have really helped them in their business or things that haven't helped them in their business, maybe things that have hurt them in their own business? Ask them questions about their schedule as a full-time teacher, all of that stuff. If the answer to that question is yes, then you are really going to enjoy this video and the next video that I'm going to be putting out next week, because we are talking to two different panels of TPT sellers. Each seller that you're going to see has a different level of experience with TPT. Some of them just started their TPT business within the last year, and some of them have been doing this for quite a while, and they're all at various levels of success. And the reason that we've done that is I really wanted you to be able to hear from different voices, not just people who have been doing this for 10 years or people who've been doing this for 5 years and are making all the money. I wanted you to be able to hear from people who are still inside of the classroom, but they're taking their business seriously and they're growing their businesses at their own pace, and hear how they are navigating the TPT world and navigating growing their business. So the people on this panel today, you're really going to enjoy it. There are a couple of sellers who are no longer in the classroom, and there are several sellers who still are in the classroom, and they're all going to be sharing and answering all kinds of questions that were submitted by the Rebranded Teacher audience. All of these panel members are from RTA. They're all members of Rebranded Teacher Academy, which is my monthly membership for TPT sellers. So they are all actively working towards growing their TPT business every single month. So these are people who are serious about their business and they're serious about growing their business. And I absolutely can't wait for you to meet them all. They're some of my favorite TPT sellers in the world. And here they are. Hey, you guys, how are y'all?
Doing good.
Good. Good. I'm so glad to have all of y'all here tonight. And I'm so glad that you all agreed to come on. And we have like a wide variety of people. Some have been selling on TPT for quite some time. Some of you guys are a little bit newer. And I'm really excited about that because I think it's really fun sometimes to, yes, hear like really big wins that people have had in their Teachers Pay Teachers business, but it's also really fun to hear about especially when you're starting off, it's fun to hear about like people who've had their first $100 month or their first $50 month or things like that. Those are fun too. To hear as well. So I'm really excited to talk to all of you guys tonight and to hear from each one of you guys tonight about your different experiences with TPT. I think, are all of you guys still in the classroom?
Yes,
Megan,
I am.
And Catherine's not. Okay, so Megan and Catherine are not, and Brianne, Kamal, and Rainey are. So this will be really fun to have all the different experiences to share and how each one of you are making your TPT business work with the different lifestyle that you guys are living. So let's go ahead and let's meet you guys. All of you guys are in RTA, so I know all of y'all, but I would love for y'all to introduce yourselves to the people who are watching. Kamal, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself first?
I am a middle school teacher in Canada. I started my TPT business back in 2020 when it all just came up, and then I thought I'm the first one who just noticed this big, huge jump in people who is joining TPT. But then I started taking it seriously this year. Something which I wanted to share is I was a teacher back home in India too, so I have a lot of international experience. I taught there for a couple of years, came to Canada, taught here. Now I'm learning how things work in US so that I can gear my store towards the people who want their needs, the teachers' needs in US. Yeah.
I love that. So you come with all kinds of experience. So tell me though, you said middle school. What's your specific niche? What subject do you sell?
I teach math, but it's very different in Canada as in US if I compare, because the curriculum that I teach in grade 8 here is basically the curriculum that you guys teach in grade maybe 6 or 5 in US. So it's very different. Your Algebra 1 is like grade 10 in Canada. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Cool. So Megan, tell us about you. How long have you been selling on TPT? Tell us about your TPT journey a little bit and what your niche is.
So my name is Megan, like you said. I was a middle school math teacher, specifically focusing on algebra. And so then also because of my time after the pandemic, I opened up my store, Algebra Elevated, in 2020. And over the last year and a half, kind of saw it take off a little more and take it a little more time invested in it myself. But I did leave the classroom at the start of this year. I realized that my favorite part of teaching is creating. And so I get to still do that with TpT, but I'm working full time with my family business. So full time worker, TpT still is my side hustle, but kind of a good combination of the two. But make math resources, a lot of digital and printable activities, get the kids up and moving, immediate feedback, all that good stuff.
I love it. Awesome. And Brianne, how about you?
Hi, I'm Brianne. I teach high school math in New York State, and I've been selling on Teachers Pay Teachers since 2013, but I didn't take it seriously until 2018. I mostly sell geometry resources, specifically interactive notebook pages, but I've also expanded to offer different organization materials for secondary teachers as well.
Awesome. And you also, we're going to be hearing from you a lot tonight, I think, on things like organization and talking about like time management. You also do a lot of that for teacher entrepreneurs. And so definitely at the end, like y'all all have to share out your handle, but you have a lot of experience in the organization and time management realm. And so really glad to have you here. And in fact, you were first episode. You were actually the very first episode on the show, I think. Yeah, so it's really good to have you back. Catherine, tell us about you.
Hi, my name is Catherine Catch. I opened my TpT store at the ESL Studio in about 14 months ago, July of 2021. 6 months prior to that, my son was born, my first son, and I decided to not go back after my maternity leave ended, but we really did need my income, so I desperately started to try to make Teachers Pay Teachers a real source of income. I wouldn't really recommend doing things in that order, but that is how I did them. And I was, before I left the classroom, an upper elementary ESL teacher, and so I make resources for ESL teachers, specifically the kind of stuff I could never find. I never felt like Teachers Pay Teachers had what I needed when I was in the classroom, and so now I make those things.
I love that. That's so awesome. And you just, I won't say what the milestone was. You can share it if you would like, but you just hit a really nice milestone in your business this past month, which is really exciting too. And so I was really excited for you about that. It's huge. Yeah.
This was the first month that I made my teacher's salary on Teachers Pay Teachers. So after a long road of really not having very much, it felt really good.
Yeah, I bet it really did. It all paid off. And I'm sure that made you and your husband very happy about your decision to leave the classroom and stay with home with your kids. Yeah. Rainey, tell us about you.
So I'm Rainey, and I teach elementary music and middle school musical theater. And I started my store in 2016, but I don't really consider doing it till 2020 because I had one product and it sold in the summer only because it was a classroom decor set. So it didn't make a lot except for in that 1 month. I just started after pandemic with everyone else, and it just kind of skyrocketed from there, and it's been going really well. But I do mostly elementary music stuff, and then I have a couple of like TpT seller organizational things like Trello boards and whatnot. So yeah.
Awesome. So you and Brianne, Brianne, you and Brianne could really get along with that Trello. Do you do Trello or do you do Asana?
I prefer Trello.
You do Trello. Okay. I thought I'd heard you talk about that before. It's all way too organized for me. I'm way too type B for all of that, but it looks beautiful when people do it. So let's get into some questions. These were all, for the most part, these were user or submitted inside of our community. And these are questions that a lot of other TpT sellers wanted to know. And one of those was like, when do you work on TpT? Like, I know each one of your situations is different, but let's just go through and we'll start with Kamal. We'll do Kamal, Megan, Brianne, Catherine, Rainey. And y'all all just answer this one. Like, what does your schedule look like? When do you work on TpT? And if you could estimate a number of hours that you put into your store each month, approximately how many hours would that be?
I would say I spend almost 8 hours a month with the school in session. I have very young kids at home, like most of the teachers on TpT. So, but I do spend a lot of time on TPT during Christmas break or summer vacations or Easter break. I spend a lot of time, but normally I can't have more than 2 hours a week for my store. So that's how much time I spend as of now. My goal
Yeah.
is to spend more, but with family, with full-time teaching, I'm just.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think a lot of people need to hear that. When you think about 8 hours, it doesn't sound like a lot of time. And I'm sure that you would love to spend more time than that. But when you can make up for it during the summer and some of those or holidays and things like that, it really does. 8 hours can go a
Yeah.
long way. Megan, how about you?
So I usually try to work on my TPT business like in the morning, which is actually like before I go to work, because after work I'm just drained and too tired to think about it. So I usually do like 2 to 3 hours a week, and at the start of each month I kind of try to come up with tasks that I want to complete every week. So like right now I'm trying to create a lot of products. So like 2 products a week is the goal. And so then if I don't finish that after just my morning time, I'll kind of leak into the weekend and try to finish them up over the weekend. But if I did finish, then I kind of take the weekend off and just wait until the next week to get back to work.
Love it. How about you, Brianne?
Per month, probably like 8 hours. It's usually like 2 hours per week. And I'm not always actually working in my store. It's usually more marketing efforts, like with my email list or my YouTube channel, more so than my store. Mostly with the store, I do a lot of data tracking that I do like monthly, and I'm kind of in there for that.
I gotcha. How many products do you have in your store now so that you've gotten to a point where you can just kind of focus on more of the marketing end of it?
I have over 300 products.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Catherine, how about you?
I work when my toddler is napping, and then usually a little bit more after he goes to bed. So it turns out to be about 2 to 3 hours a day.
Yeah. Awesome. And Rainey?
So I end up getting to do it at least an hour a day on the weekdays because my son's, the school I work at, the preschool opens an hour before I have to be there. So I typically will drop him off when they open, and then I spend the time before I'm actually on the clock working, and that's been working really well. So at least 5 hours a week.
Nice. Awesome. And I'll answer this question. Obviously, I'm full time, but my husband watches Blair in the morning until 9 a.m. So I try to get up at 6 and I'll work until 9, and then I work during her nap time as well. And I'm embarrassed to say that sometimes I work after she goes to bed, and I'm trying to get a lot better about that. I definitely am one of those people, like, I waste way too much time doing little tasks that don't really need to be done because I'm procrastinating on the things that I should be doing. But for me, it's probably closer to usually 6 hours a day. And so 30 hours at a minimum a week, but really closer to 40 hours a week. And so in years prior, though, whenever I only had a TPT business, even though I was full-time TPT, it was 20 hours a week. But at this point, I've got rebranded Teacher Academy. I've added so many different things. And so now I'm at about 40 hours a week. So let's talk about if you're in the classroom, those of you who are in the classroom, what do you focus on in that time? So Brianne, you already answered this question. You focus primarily on marketing. So Rainey and Kamal, right? You guys are still in the classroom. What do you guys focus on? What are your primary focuses for the windows of time that you have to work on TPT?
For me, I would say half the time I focus on product creation. I do have almost 300 products, but a lot of them are like seasonal, which that's my thing for elementary music. Like those sell really, really well, but I was trying to make more non-seasonal. And then the other half I focus on like content, like my YouTube channel, because that's a lot of where my traffic comes from. So content creation for that.
Love it. And Kamal, how about you?
Product creation, that's my number one goal as of now. I'm just trying to add more and more products to my store so that I can focus on my email list later this year. So that's one of my goals, which I want to do. Yeah.
Love that. Awesome. So let's talk about this one. This is kind of a fun question. And I think that a lot of people would probably want to hear the answer to this in this whole like paper versus digital. Definitely pre-COVID, we knew like paper was outselling digital. But then COVID happened. And where are we at now? Like kind of post-COVID, where are we at with paper versus digital? What's selling better for you guys? Do you want to start? You want to start, Kamal? What's selling better in your store?
I will say digital still. One of the reasons which I feel digital is still selling the best for me is because as a teacher in classroom, I still get these requests from students who are away. Can you send us the work? We were away. Can you? So I think digital is much easier to send, and it's not that hassle as printable resources. So I definitely say digital is selling way better for me at this time.
Yeah. Okay. And how about you, Megan? Has that been your experience as well?
So this one's kind of hard for me to answer. About a year ago, decided any new product I put in my store, I have like a digital and a printable version involved. So my resources themselves are maybe a little smaller, but I added that extra piece. And that was mainly kind of selfishly when I was in the classroom, I needed both. And so I figured if I need both, then I'm just going to sell them both, and teachers can pick as their needs change. They can change what they use too.
Nice. What about you, Brianne? What have you noticed?
Like Megan, I'm trying to make my products digital and printable when it makes sense to. And honestly, I feel like the resources that are selling are like 50-50. It's really hard to say that it's more one or the other. I have a lot of paper-based products, and then I have a lot of digital products now too, and they're just, I wouldn't say they're all selling, but it seems to be pretty even.
Yeah. And Catherine?
I actually still make mostly paper-based products. I'll make like slides and stuff, but the things that students would do are mostly paper-based. As an ESL teacher, a lot of us don't have our own classrooms, don't have our own laptop carts, have students who maybe aren't super technologically savvy. So that's what I used, and so that's what I create still.
Yeah. And Rainey?
Well, I only make digital. I've only ever made digital, but that's just because music is different. Like, we don't do as much printable stuff. Like, we're selling, like, folk song lyrics and slides and presentations, so it's just digital for me.
I gotcha. Okay, so that's really neat to hear how different niches are having, like, different experiences. I can say, for me, I'm kind of in the same boat as Megan in the sense that like I have so many resources that are digital and printable that it's kind of hard to say. But between resources that are strictly digital and resources that are strictly printable, printable is outselling by far. So I've definitely seen a dip in my digital sales. And I've seen that increase kind of go back to my paper only products that I had pre-COVID. Let's do some recent wins or aha moments that you've had in your business. Like, this doesn't have to be anything big or massive. It can be just something that you've known it's something that you should be doing for a long time, and you've recently decided like, okay, I'm actually going to do this. Or maybe it was just an aha moment where you realized you didn't have to be doing something that you were attempting to do before, but just like a recent win or an aha moment that you've had inside of your business. Brianne, you want to start us on that?
Sure. Recently for my store, I hired a virtual assistant to help me with product updates. That's been a big goal of mine that it's been a goal for a long time and I hadn't made any progress. So I finally sat down, made some standard operating procedure videos for them to follow, and they updated a bunch of resources for me, and it's been a big help, and I feel like it's taken a lot off my plate.
Now, how did you go about the process of finding somebody for that?
I created a sort of application using Google Forms. I saw like an application that someone else had created and took the questions that made sense and adapted them for my needs, and I posted it in the TpT Virtual Assistant Finder Facebook group. I don't know if that's the exact name of it, but I posted there, and I had a couple people apply, and I interviewed and chose a VA.
That's awesome. That really is a game changer, and I think a lot of people, I know myself included, like I put that off for way too long as well. But it really is massive. I was on vacation and my VA was like uploading resources to my TpT store, making covers and previews for me. Like, it's a massive game changer. Megan, how about you?
Kind of two-parted, but mine was kind of letting go of a resource that wasn't doing well. I love it and I used it, but it's just not connecting with my audience right now. So I decided to kind of put it on a back burner. And in turn, I have a lot more time to make something that is selling really well. So it kind of just makes sense, and I put it off for way too long.
I feel that. I've got some sitting in my store that I should probably just go ahead and remove altogether, but I don't want to let it go. So I put too much of myself into it. Catherine, how about you?
I think one of my biggest aha moments was that the quality of the products that you're putting out and the type matters more than the quantity. I had a few months where I was trying to make 10 products a month, and I was just making like whatever I thought would be fun and kind of quick to create. And those are the products like that I made during that time that don't really sell in my store. The products that do well are the ones that I really like put a lot of time and thought into. The ones that I like took the time to make sure were really unique in the marketplace. They don't exist elsewhere, and often like they took a really long time to create. Like sometimes I'll work on the same product line for months, but that's what makes my money, not the quick things.
Yep, same here. Absolutely. How about you, Rainey?
I would say my biggest aha moment was like actually when I started really utilizing like the data that you can use on TpT. Like I wasn't really looking at it for the longest time, and so that really has helped me be able to like get higher months in my TpT by like looking at what products are actually selling well every month, and then seeing how I could like recreate those for other times of the month, and just seeing like which products like they're either underpriced or overpriced depending on like conversions and all that sort of stuff. So really just utilizing the data that's available.
Yeah, that's a massive game changer. How about you, Kamal?
So I started my email list last month with RTA Challenge, and that was a big win for me. Because yeah, I was paying Flowdesk for the past year. I was not doing anything with that money because I didn't know what to do, how to start. But then so I'm on it now. I'm happy to say that. It's just I need to grow it. So that's my goal, but that's my win also, that I actually, after a year of paying money to Flowdesk, I actually started emailing my subscribers.
That is awesome. Okay, that's super exciting. That's a huge win.
It is, yeah.
So let's talk about some business game changers for you. Like, if we're talking about something, and it doesn't have to be a recent thing, this could be something that you learned early on, but it was a turning point for you and for your business. Like, I did this thing and it started making me way more money. It could also be I started doing this thing and it started saving me so much more time. But what is one of the biggest game changers for your business? And Kamal, do you want to start us with that one?
I should say putting more time and effort in previews and the covers helped my products to be seen, and I could see as I'm adding previews into my products, I could see the data and people are looking at the products and looking at the previews, and that's helping me big time this month, especially this month, because I've recently started adding PDF previews to my products, and I could see the difference, and it's good. Yeah.
That's awesome. How about you, Megan?
I'd say I saw the biggest change when I decided to actually invest more into my business, not just time, but actually put my money behind it. And I don't know that it necessarily directly caused anything, but internally I had a lot more desire and drive to make that money back and make sure it was like a worthwhile decision. And so joining RTA or buying things from Bearwood Labs or other miscellaneous things I was putting off, and I should have done it sooner.
Yeah, that's definitely been me before. How about you, Brianne?
For me, it's been batching so I can get ahead on certain things, because when there's so much to do, like you do the store and then you have an email list and a website or a YouTube channel or a podcast, and then there's a social media, it's a lot. And you can kind of get bogged down with that stuff and not really work on your store as much. So having things batched and planned ahead of time has been a huge game changer so that I can focus on the other things. So For right now, I have my blog posts batched and done through January, and that'll get me through like my next course launch. And in the meantime, I can focus on that and I can focus on stuff for my store because I'm not worried about having to put out a blog post every month.
I love that. That's awesome. How about you, Catherine?
This was something I learned from RTA, but focusing on product lines and working on the same product line until it's done, which I used to hate to do because it gets so boring to do the same thing over and over again. But it really does make a big difference because then you can put out this product that's a higher ticket. And so, you just need so fewer of those to sell to make money compared to one-off small couple dollar products.
Yeah. I'm loving this because all of these big game changers, I think sometimes we think that there's going to be this magical thing that somebody's going to say that's going to make a huge impact in our business. And it's going to be this piece of information that we've never heard before. But really and truly, like all of these things that you guys are saying, these are like basics, like batching. We all know to batch. Do I batch my podcast like I'm supposed to? Absolutely not. But I know that if I do it and when I do it, it makes a huge difference. Or even like what Catherine was just saying, actually finishing the product line and not jumping from one product to another type of product to another type of product. Or Kamal with making the PDF previews and, taking that extra step. Doing those little things makes such a massive difference. What about you, Rainey? What's been a really big game changer for you lately?
Mine would be quarterly planning. So I've been doing that for at least 2 years now, and that's just been really helpful with me being able to sit down and be like, well, what products am I going to be making for like the next quarter? What blog posts am I doing? Like what YouTube stuff, and even like not necessarily planning out like my exact Instagram things, but just knowing like, oh, I want to be promoting a product every 2 weeks or like doing this every week or whatnot. But that's been really helpful, that and alongside batching, because batching is great, as Brianne said. And it's definitely been super helpful just to be able to be a little bit ahead of things in your business for that.
Yeah, absolutely. So what is something you guys, like real quick, let's do a quick round table of what is something that you wish you would not have spent time on in your business? Something that you started and you wish you would have just like abandoned it, or just not ever even have started it, not even have wasted your time on that thing that you thought was really going to help you, but it ended up just being a waste of time. Megan, do you want to start?
Sure. I listened to your podcast and was really excited to start a website and never finished. So wish I didn't spend that time at the moment. I'll come back to it eventually.
I'll come back to it too. I think in that podcast I said that I was going to do it, and I definitely did not do it. If you still go to like laurenfultonmath.com, I have no idea what you see when you go there, but it's not a website. I can tell you that much right now, which is really sad. But one of these days I'll get to it. Exactly. How about you, Brianne?
I really cannot think of anything in that category. I feel like everything I've done, even if it was like a mistake, I've learned from it. So I don't have anything that I like feel like regret over.
I like that. I feel like though you may be the type of person that you have a lot of self-awareness, and you may realize pretty early on that maybe you're not going down the right path. Like maybe like this isn't going well for me. Are you that type of person, like you notice pretty early on?
Maybe. I also think I like overthink everything. So I might get to the point where I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. I might not even like really try it.
Yeah, yeah. How about you, Catherine?
When I first started my email list, I tried to get subscribers by offering a free product every month. And it was terrible because every month that time would come around and I would be so stressed trying to figure out what the free product was. And I would end up just taking something from my store that I would sell in my store and like offering it for free. And I wasn't getting like a lot of downloads on the free products, and also like my emails didn't make me any money because they were just giving the free thing away. So I stopped doing that and took a different approach after a few months.
Yeah. And on that, because I am pretty sure that I probably said that at some point too, and I know that right now, if you join my texting club, you get one free product a month. But I've been really strategic with that, and I'm at a point now where I can hire out a lot of that product creation. And so it's not a massive time waster for me to offer that every month, and it's not a stressful thing. But somebody did something really smart, and I don't want to say who, and because I don't want to give away their niche or anything like that. But there is somebody that I know because I'm on their email list, and what she does is she actually links to other stores' freebies in every newsletter. And that way she's not like, she's still providing value to her customers, but she's not the person who's having to always put out the free resource. She just links to other people in her niche. And I kind of watched, I'm not going to lie, I was like a little side eye, kind of like, I don't know about that. Like, you're giving away, like, you're literally just sending them to a free resource every single month. But we did an event together, and she was part of an event that I organized, and she had the highest conversion rate in sales for any other teacher author, myself included, on her email list. And I think it was because she just is constantly giving value to her customers, but without giving of herself. And I thought that was really kind of a smart way to go about doing that. Like, if you're wanting to give somebody something away on your email list every month or something like that, you can always just point them to a free resource in another store. I thought that's really pretty smart. That has nothing to do with our current conversation. It's a little bit extra, but I thought that made me think of that because I've done the same thing before. And so I have thought before, like, okay, well, if I ever get to a point with like the text club or something like that, I can always just send them to maybe someone in RTA who's inside of my niche, send them a freebie to there, and then I'm not feeling overwhelmed. So let's do some fun ones. Favorite podcast. Kamal, what's your favorite podcast?
I like yours. It's my go-to podcast.
Oh, thank you. And y'all are not obligated to say my podcast.
No, it's not. Otherwise, I would not have been here today, right? Because I really like the content the strategies you discuss. I really like them. That's why I'm here today, and I'm a part of RTA because I really like your podcast. And I also like Kate Doster for her email strategies right now because my goal and my focus is towards that, increasing my email followers or subscribers. So right now, at the current point of time, I'm following her a lot. Yeah.
Nice. Megan, how about you?
I had to look it up, but it's called The Carpool with Kelly and Liz. It's by the car mom and her sister. It's super lighthearted. They talk about the silliest things, like twice a week for an hour, and it just is something to listen to while I'm doing things and keeping busy, and you feel like you're like right there with them and can laugh along, so that's cool.
I like that. I'll have to look that up. I follow her on Instagram, but I didn't know she had a podcast, so that's really cool. Brianne, how about you?
My current favorite is Pod Meets World. It's a Boy Meets World rewatch podcast with 3 of the leads. It's so good.
That's awesome. Do you watch the episodes along with them, or you just remember them from your childhood?
I remember them because I started rewatching it when we got the pandemic.
Yeah, that's awesome. Catherine, how about you?
If I'm feeling like learning about TpT stuff, and there's no new rebranded teacher podcasts, I'll listen to the TpT School of Sellers, which is also really good. If I'm not feeling like work stuff, I usually listen to parenting podcasts. If there's any other moms of toddlers out there, I really like Shelf Help, which is sort of Montessori inspired, and then the 1,000 Hours Outside podcast also.
Oh, okay. I'll have to check those out. That sounds fun. What about you, Rainey?
Well, same thing in here. If I'm listening to like a TpT one, it's probably either yours or Alyssa McDonald's Teacher Hustle, because I love her a lot. And then outside of that, I love listening to all things productivity and organization. So my favorite is Hustle Sanely by Jess Massey, and she just has a lot of stuff on like creating an intentional life and still being productive without like only working.
Neat. Okay, cool. All right, favorite way to relax. Kamal, do you want to start us on that one?
Yeah, Netflix and a glass of wine when kids go to bed. That's it.
Nice. So that takes me into my next question. I'll go ahead and ask this one too. What's your favorite show that you're binge watching on Netflix?
So right now so I've done it. I'm doing it again. I'm watching Crowns for the second time just to refresh it. And so because the
Nice.
new season is coming up, so I'm gonna, yeah.
There you go. Love it. How about you, Megan? Favorite way to relax and your favorite show that you're binge watching?
I like to go for walks when I can, and then I rewatch Grey's Anatomy constantly.
There you go. Love that. How about you, Brianne?
I feel like my way to relax is just getting in my pajamas as soon as I get home when I come home from work. Um, and then my comfort show to rewatch constantly is Dawson's Creek.
Okay, I've never seen Dawson's Creek, but I've heard a lot of great things about it. Catherine, how about you?
I don't feel like I'm doing a ton of relaxing lately, but my family, we recently moved to Vermont from Pennsylvania, and we've been, since being here, taking a weekly family hike. And so that's been like a really nice way to just sort of detach from everything. And on Netflix, when I want to watch TV, we always just rewatch The Office or Parks and Rec. I just don't have the don't have it in me to commit to a new show when I already like those ones. So I just always go back to them.
Yeah, that sounds like my husband and I. We'll sit down and be like, look, I'm going to watch a show, and we'll spend an hour trying to find a show to watch, and then we'll just be like, let's just rewatch The Office. Or where we are watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine right now. Like, we're kind of going through Brooklyn Nine-Nine a little bit, but it's kind of off and on. Like, we still haven't, I think we're maybe on season 2, and we've been working on it for a couple of months. So slowly making our way through it. How about you, Rainey?
For relaxing, I work and teach and perform at a circus gym. So I do like trapeze and silks and all the things.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's great. I enjoy it a lot. And then for my favorite show, I'm just rewatching Friends for like the 500th time because I'm just obsessed and it's just great.
I love it. I feel like some of the the lighthearted comedies, like when you're so tired, it's hard to get into a new show, and not only just a new show, but so many things are so heavy right now, and so it's really nice to just rewatch a lot of those comedies. So what's next for you guys and for your businesses, and where can we find you? Share your Instagram, your social media, whatever you have. What's next for you, Kamal, and where can we find you?
I have my Instagram handle, the name of Math at a Glance, and yeah, and people can sign up for my email list, going on the bio link and find me there. I'm
Nice.
always trying to be more active
Yeah,
and send out more emails. Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. And what's next for your business? Just continuing to grow that email list?
And my product creation. That's the two focuses I have for this year and the next year. I don't want to have more on my plate more than I can survive. So that's the two things which I need to work on, and I'm keeping my goals simple for now.
I love it. How about you, Megan?
People can find me on Instagram at Algebra Elevated, and then currently I'm getting my way through a scavenger hunt product line. So I have the beginning of the school year kind of posted, and I'll just be building it as the year goes.
Love it. How about you, Brianne? What's next for your business, and where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram at BusyMissBeebe or my website busymissbeebe.com. And for the rest of this year, I'm focusing on opening up my course for teachers called the Productive Teacher Toolkit. And then next year, I'm focusing on transitioning that to Evergreen so I can start focusing on my store more and do a lot of product updates.
I love that. How about you, Catherine?
I have not yet embarked on any social media for my business, so you can only find me on Teachers Pay Teachers at the ESL Studio, and you can sign up for my email list there.
Nice.
And what's next for my business in this next year, I am going to, like Kamal said, pretty much focus on product creation and then also growing my email list. And then after that, we'll see if I have time to maybe add in some social media or blogging or something else, but not yet.
Love it. How about you, Rainey?
So if you're for music, then you can find me at Whimsically Musical Teacher, and if you're just a teacher, my other one's Timely Teacherpreneur. But as far as my business, I'm just trying to batch and do as much as I possibly can for the little one that's due in May for us. So
Yay, congratulations.
Thank you. I'm trying to be able to have an actual maternity break where I'm not thinking about my business. So I'm trying to do as much as I can before then.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations on that. Thank you, ladies, so much for coming on and for sharing tonight. I know that people are really going to enjoy being able to hear from different sellers and in different places inside of their businesses. And I think it's really reassuring to hear people not only just saying like the biggest game changers they've had in their business are super basic things that anyone can do, but also to hear from people who are saying, I'm working 8 hours a week on my business or 8 hours a month. Some of you guys are working 8 hours a month and my business, I'm still able to grow my business. Like I'm still able to do that. And that I feel like when you're new and you're starting out, if somebody says 8 hours a month on a business, you're going to feel like it's never going to happen for you, but it absolutely can. And I'm really glad that you ladies came on and you're willing to share your experience and how you're building your business and all of the things that you've learned along the way. So thanks so much for coming on and for talking. I'll be linking to all of these ladies, all of their TpT store for Catherine, but also their social media accounts so that you can find them and you can connect with them. And so if you're listening, please take the time to go and do that, connect with them. And if you learned something or enjoyed hearing from them, please tell them and let them know. Well, thanks, ladies. I'll see y'all soon.
Thanks.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
If you want to connect with these ladies, you can find the links inside of the description. And if you want to join them inside of RTA, then you can find some information about that inside of the description as well. As always, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it and subscribe. I put out weekly videos that are designed to help you grow your Teachers Pay Teachers business, and you don't want to miss them. All right, you guys, I will see you in the next video.